Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Zero Sievert, which is available on PC. Zero Sievert is a top-down extraction shooter developed by Cabo Studio. The game sees you explore and scavenge procedurally generated zones. The game is currently in early access. Okay, what's it like to play? Well, the controls are preset to the mouse and keyboard, but there are configurations available for controllers if you're more of a twin stick fan. The game starts out in the bunker, your base of operations, where you get tooled up before exploring the various regions. When you're ready, hop on a train and you're dropped off into a hot zone. Zero Sievert uses a line of sight feature, meaning you can only see threats within your range of vision. It definitely adds a lot of tension to the exploration, as you never truly know what's around the next corner, and this can result in some really interesting cat and mouse affairs. The more you play, the more cautious you'll become, with the sounds of distant gunfire or howling wolves striking fear into your unprepared character. Eventually though, you will encounter an enemy, whether it be the military, a mutant or some form of wildlife, and these confrontations, they are brutal, resulting in multiple deaths as you get to grips with the gameplay loop. Thankfully, there are 3 difficulty settings. This review was based on the middle one, but even that I would say is pretty harsh until you get better gear. Your character has health and stamina points, but also has to manage rest status, hunger, thirst and radiation exposure. On their own, these issues, they're not a massive problem, but it's the accumulation of them, especially when out in the danger zones, that really can be quite oppressive even for the most hardened gamer. The more you play, the more your character will level up, in areas such as fitness, charisma, cooking and shooting for example. The game takes place during a 24-hour cycle, meaning that you can visit the zones at night too, but personally I would not recommend it because you can't see a thing. You've also got these installable modules that attach buffs or benefits to your character, and which ones you choose is completely up to you. Okay, so what about the game world itself? The game is broken up into these themed regions such as forests, cities or swamps. Once you're in these zones, the only way out is via the extraction point. These zones can be freely explored at your own pace, but the longer you stay, the more likely you're going to die. At least in my case, useless. The areas are full of points of interest. They've got hidden loot, they've got abandoned buildings, but more importantly, there are deadly enemies, as I said before. It is not a game, I would say, that encourages you to engage in combat due to the sheer brutality of it. You're much better off scoping out the threat, being stealthy and striking only when absolutely necessary, and this will keep you alive long enough so that you can advance your character and improve your survival chances. But if you're lucky enough to extract, you can take your loot and trade it out at the bunker for better weapons, better armor, a new backpack, useful things that will just help you on your journey. The game features several factions as well, and your loyalty to each faction is recorded based on what you do to them. But generally, I would say Zero Sievert, it's a pretty satisfying gameplay loop of gearing up at the bunker, heading out into the zone, explore, loot, fight off threats, medicate yourself long enough and get the hell out of there. And that is pretty much the game in a nutshell. It's tough, it's unforgiving, and it's a slow burner, but once you get to develop your character, each foray into that hostile zone will become a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more lucrative. In terms of visuals, it's a nice looking game with very clean pixel art visuals, detailed regions, nice to explore, atmospheric presentation. The only downside I would say are the quite ugly menus and inventory screens. They could do with a little bit of jazzing up. In terms of sound, the music, it's pretty nicely suited to the kind of dystopian feel. Sound effects, they're good, especially the kind of the spatial sound effects in terms of distance. You know, you hear things in the distance and they do actually sound like they are in the distance, and that creates a nice sense of suspense and incoming danger. Okay, good and bad points. The good points, it's a slow-paced, tense and immersive experience. The game has a strong atmosphere, combat is brutal but satisfying, and it's a simple game to understand but a difficult game to master. Bad points, the difficulty level is quite overwhelming at first. It's quite a repetitive gameplay loop and the menu screens could do with a little bit of TLC. So, what is the verdict? Zero Sievert is a challenging, immersive and rewarding adventure game. It's easy to jump into, but always makes you feel in danger and under pressure, whether that be the radiation, hostile enemies or the punishing survival elements. Yes, it's definitely a slow burner and it may be a little bit too difficult for some, but if you stick with it, you develop your character, you upgrade your loadout, you will turn the tide after a period of time. I'd say if the developers can maintain the quality that they've shown so far, I would say it will probably end up being around an 8 or so out of 10. But for now, I'm not going to give it a definitive score because this is still in production, it's still early access, but there is plenty of good things to appreciate here. It's definitely a game for the patient gamers out there, gamers who are prepared to endure a fair amount of pain in order to get some reward in the long run. I would definitely recommend giving it a go. Also, I do have a code for this. I'm going to do a giveaway on my Twitter account, so if you want to be part of the giveaway and win a copy of the game on Steam, my Twitter handle is @photog_gamer. Head over there, follow me, and I'll be posting something very soon with a giveaway. So there you go, that's the review. Thank you for watching. This is Photography Gamer, signing off. I'll see you next time.